Sicher dir dein Balkonkraftwerkspeicher von Anker zum Bestpreis auf juma.de. Mach dein Balkonkraftwerk so noch effizienter, weil du keinen Strom mehr verschenkst, ihn speicherst, damit du nutzen kannst, wenn du ihn brauchst und so noch mehr mit deinem Balkonkraftwerk sparst. Jetzt auf juma.de. Mach dein Balkonkraftwerk so noch effizienter, weil du keinen Strom mehr verschenkst, ihn speicherst, damit du nutzen kannst, wenn du ihn brauchst und so noch mehr mit deinem Balkonkraftwerk sparst. Jetzt auf juma.de. Mach dein Balkonkraftwerk so noch effizienter, weil du keinen Strom mehr verschenkst, ihn speicherst, damit du nutzen kannst, wenn du ihn brauchst und so noch mehr mit deinem Balkonkraftwerk sparst. Jetzt auf juma.de.
Hello everyone. Before I properly start, I think I figured out how to fix the microphone issue from last time. It was too quiet, but now OBS always tells me it's too loud. Can you tell me if it's too loud, if it's good? Hello everyone. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's on the loud side. I'll go a tiny bit quieter then, because I don't want to clip, but it's good. If it is too quiet at any point, you can let me know when there's room to go louder now. Yeah, you can hear me breathing, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to breathe less. Welcome. I hope I made it clear that this is a bit of a test stream, because the Galaxy was never set up for streaming. Same as it was not set up to be put in a game engine. So I expect some lagging, some missing textures, and it will definitely not be as pretty as in the other videos. But let's see how well it works, and then I try to make some improvements based on whatever happens today, and then make a more polished stream at the end of the week. And I hope that by then it will work fluid and looks a bit prettier than today. At any point, please feel free to ask questions about the Galaxy. That's what today is about. And also let me know if anything does absolutely not work on your end or is terrible or something. Quieter. What does quieter mean? Should I make it quieter? Am I quieter than last time? I don't know. Okay, almost there. Okay. Let's, yeah, before I start actually walking around, I'm not sure how many people are overlapping with what I did a few weeks ago. We had a stream for the Paladin. That was the very first time I did anything like that, but I just figured that I could not rebuild that in time, or not fast enough, so I just got the model and then basically started streaming and started the texturing process while streaming, and people found that interesting too, all the Blender work I did. And then about an hour after the ship was released, we jumped into this scene and walked around it and had the usual stuff, just not as polished and not as perfect, but it was a first look at the Galaxy. And then, not Galaxy, the Paladin. And then later that day, on the next day, I built the interior, and then we did more streams. So I figured, why not give you the same treatment for the Galaxy? By now I learned that ship is way too big for that, or my computer is too small, one of the two. But that's why there's not going to be many shadows, and it's not as pretty as my video because I render those for hours. But there are ways to improve that in the future, and I will basically, if you're into gaming or game development, I will have to go and bake lighting in the future for the scenes that I publish for my Patreons, and I'm going to do the same for these tours, and that means we can have the same graphics quality as in my videos, or not similar one, but this will take me a lot more preparation, and that is something that I didn't do when I first started the Galaxy. But let's talk about that later and have a look around now. Let me just have a look at the most recent messages, and then I'll just start the tour. German question. The white colored plates on the outside, is it possible that they are movable as kind of a armor? I have to answer that question in German, so I'm not sure if that... I'll try to translate it too. Meinst du die weißen Platten, die du in dem letzten Video gesehen hast? Die großen obendrauf, die, wo auch das RSI-Logo drauf ist? And in the meantime, do you think the Galaxy should get more S3 shield gens at release? Currently only one that is info, but I think all components of this ship will change, or at least most of them. I think they are so so much has changed since the ship was first announced that probably I wouldn't count on any of these measurements for now. The measurements of the ship, I wouldn't count on the internals. I think a lot of stuff will change. So yes, he's questioning about the white stuff. Let me jump back. These big white plates. I don't think they are movable. I mean, this is a skin, right? I just updated this one to the, what is it called? The protector skin. So in this one, they look special and look like they could move, but on the other skins, they look the same as the ship, and I don't think they will move at all. And für dich in Deutsch, ich glaube nicht, dass die sich bewegen. Ich habe das jetzt nur in den letzten Videos gemacht, weil das der Protector Skin ist. Ich finde, der Skin sieht klasse aus, aber das sieht nur in dem Skin so aus, als würden diese Platten sich bewegen können. Ich glaube, das ist ein fester Teil des Schiffs. Ich würde nicht ausschließen, dass es sowas wie Blast Shields dann auch gibt, weil die ja gerade sehr hip sind. Aber ich glaube, diese großen Teile werden sich nicht bewegen. And to add that in English too, I don't think these white things will change, but I would not... I think it's a possibility that we will get blast shields on this one too, just because they are the thing right now. Not sure if I'm allowed to. Anyway, oh no, first issues already. I think they might be blast shields. We can have a look at the cockpits later, but I don't think these white things will move. Questions: where's the docking port? It has a docking port, and we'll get there. Okay, I'll just show you when we get there. And that's a perfect start. In all my videos, I started the trip from the docking port. Today, we are starting from the surface elevator. There's a small elevator in the front that personnel can use to reach the outside. And today I figured I'm going to start from here. It's not working right now. I'm trying to find a solution to get the moving parts in this real-time demo too, but so far they are not. And since we're here, this room in the front, I think that it holds a lot of components, but it was mentioned in the Q&A that there's nothing like extremely special here. It's components and stuff, but no major interesting stuff. I have to look at the chat again, I'm sorry. This is going to be a slow tour. Do you think they could remodel the interior? The sides have a lot of space that is not used, and I think they will revisit the whole interior. Because you're right, there is a lot of unused space, but I'm not sure if they're going to really add new stuff. I would expect some rooms to get bigger, like the kitchen. There's a lot of space lost, but otherwise I don't think they will completely redo the thing. What does the Galaxy bring other than its module diversity? Well, let's have a look at that after the tour. My first answer is because it's nice. It's very nice. It's a very cool ship. People love it just for its aesthetics. Moving from the lower front to the back, we have one big elevator. That is where you could reach the cockpit the fastest, and to spoil that, right above us is the docking collar. So to answer that question already, we'll get there later, but if you enter the ship from the bottom, you would probably take this elevator to go up to the both habitation and the cockpit. I skipped over this room. I think it's all the weapon racks and, well, suit lockers and all that stuff. Right, the white plates look like they stand out, but I think that's what makes this skin so special. I think that skin is beloved by a lot of people. When will it come out? We don't know. Okay. We don't know when it will come out. It will come out after the Perseus. The Perseus is the next big RSI ship in production now, and the Galaxy is supposed to be worked on right after that, but we've been told that there's going to be the next in line before, and it wasn't, so I wouldn't count on it. But right now it's going to be start development right after the Perseus. Yeah, right, that's what I just said. I don't think it's a good thing that they changed that. I understand that they changed it, just because, I mean, their reasoning was that the Perseus is closer to the Polaris, and interior-wise I get that. Both are very military. The Galaxy is a lot more civilian, and so it would be a lot easier to finish the Perseus than the Galaxy. I understand that. And then also the modularity. I know they have one ship with modularity now, but I don't think they have it figured out completely, especially this big interior here that's going to be switched out. This is a bit more tricky, I think, than it is on the Retaliator, so that might be another reason why they pushed it. All in all, I think it's good because we will have the Perseus a lot quicker than the Polaris. But honestly, yeah, it's very sad that it, I mean, just as you, most of you here probably, I love the Galaxy and I would have liked it to come out sooner, but it is what it is. Yeah, if you have German questions, I have some German viewers, probably also some from Corallinger over. Feel free to write in German, that's fine, but right now I have to stick to English because that's the main language on my channel. Any idea on the timeline for the Arastra? I don't know. I don't think it was mentioned for a while now. Okay, now there's a brief moment for me to continue here. This right now is basically the room without a module, and it was again stated in the Q&A that if you don't have a module equipped with a chip, that is possible, then you will have this as, they called it an empty void. So I figured it would look like this, it would look the same, but it's also possible that they cut off all the stuff and that you just have like a walkway here. But they said it's an empty void where you could technically put stuff. And so basically you could fill it however you want, just without having cargo grids, and you know how cool snapping cargo grids are, and they make your ship explode less, so I don't think it will be good to fill this up with boxes, even though it might be possible. Moving on, we have the hangar. Oh no, there are parts of the door missing. You know what? I'm going to make a small list of things that I have to fix. And that is the first on the list. There's supposed to be more elements. Okay, that's your big hangar. That hangar has a small landing pad in the middle here, so it can officially hold all snapcrafts, obviously, but then also the MPUVs, the what is it called? Small medical ship called? The small medical, the Pisces, and the Arrow. Okay, I think those were the ones that were officially mentioned. And then if you, most of you probably have watched some of my videos, I managed to cram a lot of other stuff in here, some better than others, but officially you can only put small crafts in here, but it is quite roomy. What are the dimensions? I measured it a few days ago. It's somewhere in my comments, but I don't have it written down. I think the only thing I remember is that it's 23 meters wide, and I can look up the rest later for you. The issue is, even if you have the size, these beams are in the way. So you can, I mean, that's part of the intention, because right here between these beams, that's where it has cargo plates. So that is where you can add your 64 SCU, I think it is. You get 64 SCUs in the main hangar and then more SCU depending on what module you get. And so you always have your cargo grid on the side and then always have your landing pad in the middle. And you can put more cargo here, but not, it won't snap, it won't be secured. Okay, more questions. I am not sure if this will still be the case, but when the Galaxy has no module equipped, there won't be an elevator into the module area. No, that's not true. The module has no elevator. The elevator, I mean, you won't have the big elevator for an Ursa, for example, or for cargo, but not all modules have that either. So no matter if you have a module or not, there will always be this elevator, the big one, and then the one in the front that goes down to the surface. So you always have those two. And worst case, you can't move in between these two doors, but you won't lose any elevators. Is this a fan-made render? Yeah, absolutely. The exterior of this ship is the HoloViewer model that I based this on, but all the interior is built by me based on the artworks and on the perspective drawings. The Galaxy is not as accurate as the what is the Anvil thing called? So many names. The Paladin, because by now I obviously figured out the process a lot bigger. So I would say the Paladin is 98% accurate, or my model of it is 90% accurate, 98% accurate. This one maybe 85% maybe. Is saying that they said they would release the Galaxy after, but they changed their mind. Yeah. C8, yeah, that's what the ship was called. In your process of modeling the Galaxy, have you seen any big unused space? Oh yeah, absolutely. Mainly next to the kitchen and recreational area, there's a lot of space. There's a bit next to all the walkways on the top. We'll get there in a minute. And then next to these rooms, there's also some space, but not too much. I would say the top floor is a bit worse than the lower floor. But again, in the front, there's also a lot of unused space. I'm not going back all the way, but you remember that between the elevator where we got in and then the room with the armory, there's the small corridor. And obviously around it, there's a lot of space that is unused. But then again, I don't really know what you would have to put there, what else would make sense there. Galaxy looks great, but more excited for the Ironclad. Right now, me too. And yeah, Ironclad is next on my list. I already saw some comment before the stream even started, and he was asking to get a preview at the Ironclad. And unfortunately, I can't do that today. It's not that far, but I'll do that soonish, I think. Ironclad is now safe to say next on my list. Could the Paladin make it for 2025 release, or is it probably going to be later? I don't know. It was not in the silhouette view, and they will have to finish all those, I don't know, I think it was 13 ships, but I think 10 of them I counted they would have to finish next year. I don't think they have much room to add many more other ships. So I don't think the Paladin, I wouldn't expect it to come out next year, especially because the reception was, it was good, but it was not as great as it could have been. I think if everyone loved the Paladin, then maybe they would add it, but I don't think it will come out next year. Some talk about the Galaxy, that they delayed it because of the modules, because refining is not in. I would also absolutely don't count on the Galaxy releasing with all its modules. I think it's very likely that they will release it with 1 or 2, depending on what they have finished modules, or even without modules. I don't think it will be held up by refining, for example. I think they would rather release it without the refining module if they had it finished. But that is another reason why they maybe preferred the Perseus, because it doesn't need refining. Any vehicles passing through. Feel like they did the door between the cargo and hangar to prevent any vehicles passing through. Seems also hard to move big SCU boxes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure they added this to prevent you from using big vehicles in the back. And also, if they didn't do this, you could fit more cargo in here than on the Caterpillar. I don't have the numbers right now, but it would be ridiculous how many boxes you could fit in here. So that is part of balancing that I think is necessary. Otherwise, this would carry massive ships. It would carry, I don't know how many boxes, but it would be too overpowered if this was one giant room that you could put in whatever you wanted. Is this real from files? No, I built this. Some objects in here are from the files. The size is from the files. And everything I built is pretty accurate, but it's not the official models. Do you have plans on converting your recent live streams into proper video content, or will they stay up as live stream? Yes, I usually let them up as VODs, but I mean, there are already proper videos for the Galaxy, so I let these up for whoever wants to watch it, but usually this is in addition to my proper videos. Actually, I don't have it properly planned because I just streamed last week because I wanted to do something for the Paladin, and then it was more fun than I expected, so here I'm again. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this absolutely regularly. But especially things like that, feedback, very welcome. I'm still figuring stuff out. What are the hatches in front of the bridge on the Galaxy? I know what you're talking about. I'm 90% sure that they are just decoration. I think it was even mentioned in the Q&A that it was just decoration. Guys, I'm completely lost with the chat. It's going too fast for I can't multitask. Can you just put like question on the beginning when it's a question so I can filter that a bit and get on with the tour? Because I really want to answer everything, but at the same time we're still in the hangar, so, but I mean, it's fine, we have time. I do wish there was a ramp into the hangar. Absolutely, that's annoying. There's no ramp here. You can only fly in or use tractor beams to get stuff in. I think that is again balancing, and a reason to get the or to make the cargo module more important. Do you think the ironclad will end up fitting a vulture? I'm not entirely sure. I know that Starjump Grim tested that. I think the answer was yes, but I will answer that whenever I do my ironclad video, but the video will take a month, I can promise you that. And if I do streams before, then we can try that. No, I wasn't talking about the wall, but mostly about the form of the door. Yeah, I'm not talking about being a door here, but the shape is there to prevent stuff from going through. It's also part of the design language and it looks cool, but it is definitely also for balancing purposes. What game is this? This is not a game, this is part of Star Citizen that I built. I don't know where you're coming from, but let's pretend you don't even know what Star Citizen is. The Star Citizen sells ships that are not out yet, and I rebuilt those ships years before they are out to give people a feeling for what they are going to look like someday. So this is a rebuild, and I'm using Blender to rebuild stuff that is not in the game yet. Star Skipity. No, it's called Star Citizen. And it's not a scam. Okay, let's get on. Still in the hangar. Hangar is very tall. On both sides it's symmetrical, and these rooms again are probably for some component access. And then also they have a nice view into the hangar. That is that might be important in the future when we have to consider air. So when the door open, I'm not sure if this is pressurized or not, the hangar, we'll see, but could be for that purpose. And these rooms are symmetrical, but the small room in the back is not. On this side there's a ladder upstairs, and on the opposite side is a lift. But both have doors here to get into the hangar. So there's a lot of doors on this level. I'm not entirely sure if so many doors are necessary. I think it's a good idea. I think it's always a good idea to have ladders, because power outs will be a thing probably, and it just makes sense to have ladders on these ships. And from here, another great view into the hangar. I love this view very much. If you have ships in here, if you have seen the medical video, I've made a view from up here where the Pisces is flying in. That looks really amazing to watch it from here. What do you think of 4.0, and what do you think it will be released before the end of the year? I don't know if it's going to be released. I'm pretty sure they will try to. From what I know, it's pretty stable right now, but yeah, to answer the question what I think of it, I haven't played it. I played the Pyro Playground at CitizenCon last year, so 1.5 years ago now. And I loved it pretty much. Like, I loved the Pyro system, but gameplay was pretty rough back then. And since then I said I'm going to skip all the PTUs, all of it, and just wait until it's out and I can actually make progress and not get wiped. So yeah, even the wormhole jumps, I have not tried any of that. I managed to stay away from it, and I'm saving it for the final release. No, not the final, the 4.0 release. Do you think the Galaxy will come in 2025? I don't think so. I think the Perseus will come in 2025, but even that is not a given, and they will definitely not come both next year. Do you know where they will place all the components? The Matrix of Lies says it has 2 components. I don't know. I don't think they know. I think some might be in this room here, like downstairs, where I'm looking at. And then I think most of them will be at the very front where we started the tour. But I think they will be a bit more split up, since this ship has not a big engineering area. But I told you that in the front there's a lot of wasted space, so maybe they will change that a bit and make a big engineering space in the front with most of the components. Okay, speaking of engineering, we have 2 stations here. There's one on the opposite side too. I'm not entirely sure if these are engineering stations or if these are turret seats, because right behind this wall, very much behind this wall, are the 2 big remote turrets on the outside. So I think it would line up perfectly with those. And I also said in my video that it would be great to have a window here. This is right here the wall is very thin. You could absolutely add a window here and have the gunner, even if it's a turret gunner, sit here and have a window. I mean, you don't really see the window when you're in your turret view, but it would be great for believability, because even in the real world, if you would sit here on a remote turret on a screen, it would be nice to have a window outside and see what's going on. I would definitely add more windows to the ship, and this is one of the best spots for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But again, symmetrical to this point. This would get us back to the elevator downstairs. And in the middle here, this is another corridor where I think it's a bit of a waste of space. It's cool to have another view downstairs, and I think there's, oops, oh no. I think there's another terminal here, but we don't know. And again, a lot of wasted space just for another good view. You could put this terminal right here and then extend the captain's quarters, which are behind this wall, or maybe, I don't know, add more rooms. Glass on a combat ship just doesn't make sense. They should have windows, be cameras that view outside. There's a lot of discussion about that topic, and I'm in that discussion very much, because I think, yeah, I think it makes no sense to have such big windows and cockpits on warships. But then again, in lore, this is not glass. This is some kind of compound stuff that is solid as steel but transparent. But I don't buy that. I think design-wise, it's terrible to have such big cockpits on any ship other than an explorer or a luxury ship. So I would design them with smaller windows or with more blast shields. So a chance to get rid of those windows whenever you need to. I think blast shields are a great addition, and they should make more use of that, and in that process add more windows to the whole ship, not just the cockpit. I already talked about that in the Paladin stream. I think part of it is it's basically for the resources of the game, it's important to have not too many windows, because there's so much stuff inside that you have to render then that otherwise you wouldn't have to think about, but might be wrong there. Can you show the habitation? We haven't gone there. We're going there right now. So all symmetrical again, and then habitation. You have 4 little rooms here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th one around this corner here. And these 5 are the crew quarters. So unlike the Polaris, every single member has his very own room with his own bed, desk, and own bathroom. And this is one of the things why I think this is more of a civilian ship than a military ship. So there's a lot of more privacy, a lot more room for every single person. And I think this is also one of the reasons people like this ship, because it's more livable, it's more homey, it's more civilian. Not everyone wants to drive a massive warship. So those 5 small rooms, and then in the middle there's one bigger room. That is the captain's quarters. It's one of the few places in the ship where you have a window, and it's a massive one. I will absolutely need some environment, and here I'll add that for the next stream, because this is it's an amazing view from up here. I said that I always, before I record these videos, I do the whole tour in VR for a few times just to get a feel for the size and everything. And this room is just amazing, because you have your massive desk here. You can basically look all the way to the cockpit and scream commands. And then if you look upstairs, you have this amazing view. That's really, really lovely. Love that room. And it also has great lighting, but I have to disable that. I don't know which video it was. I think it was the silhouette video I did. There I had this, the latest, or my latest version of this room with light stripes up here and yeah, moody and nice lighting. You can check that out. It's at the very end of the silhouette videos, I think. This is just decoration, but there's a place for books and stuff. And then this, obviously, I have that in every scene now, is a... oh no. It's a plaque for every single one of my Patreon members. I have 2 at the $25 level now, which is crazy, and I promised them special plaques, and you'll get them, but they are not finished yet. So I'm working on it. And this is also in the scenes. So if you are a Patreon or channel member, you get basically a simplified version of this galaxy, of this whole scene, and you can play that in your web browser yourself, walk around it. Even swap out the modules now. I have added all 3 modules, and there's a small command where you can, well, switch out the modules. And I do a new scene of this scene every, I don't know, so far every month. I'm not going to do that every month, but whoever is Patreon in that month will have his flag in that very scene, and you can walk around it and find your name there. Oh my, thank for this. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Oh, that's my first, actually, I didn't even know that I can get stuff here in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. The hope is late 25, early 26, depending on... I think it will more be like late 26, honestly. Tristan, are you Torsten Leinmann from CIG? You have the same voice and accent. Honestly, honestly, I sometimes think that too. But no, I'm not. I think it's just a generic German accent. And I have not ever worked for CIG and have never actually been contacted by CIG, so no. Just terrible German accent. Let's move on. Here we have all this blue now. The theme of this ship apparently is light blue, which is very nice. And then here we have the kitchen area. I have unfortunately, I have disabled the kitchen area here, but right here would be a kitchenette. And then seating. And on the opposite side, a nice big bench and a pool table, a screen. Again, some books and stuff. So this area is nice, especially because, again, you have pretty amazing windows here. Big windows. And in the proper rendered scenes I did of this in the first, and I think it's also in the last video, when the sun shines in here, that's really, really lovely. I think this room is, the view from this room is really unique, but it's only to the top, and usually you only see clouds and sky. So I think this room needs more windows still. And I said this earlier, there's a lot of wasted space behind this wall and behind this wall, like a solid, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters. And then right behind that, there's a perfect spot on the outside to place a window. So I just hope they will extend this room into both directions, make this shape that looks like a window. But right now it can't be, because there's another solid, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 meters of steel and stuff before we reach the outside. I feel like 64 native should be stackable to 128 for a more realistic amount of cargo. I think they did that for a reason, for balancing. I think doubling it to 128 is a possibility, but I wouldn't expect more than that. Because even that with the cargo module, it's quite a lot of cargo, even though it doesn't sound like that, but it's pretty similar to a Caterpillar, and it really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like a massive big cargo hauler, so I think they won't add much. But that you can't stack at least 2 crates, I don't understand that either. It's just weird. Do you think there's enough space on the Galaxy to have a more military spec variant, like CRD did with the Ironclad and Ironclad Assault? Depends what you expect in a military variant. I don't think you will fit any... No, I don't think so, because the elevator on the module is only as big, it's only big enough to hold an Ursa. And if you wanted to make that bigger, you would have to change the whole underside of the ship. And that would be, it would be possible, but it would be a massive undertaking, and I don't think they want to do that. Since they haven't started, maybe they will change that, but usually they don't make differences as big as this for variants, because it's too much modeling work. If there is a military variant, I would expect something more in the realms of maybe bombing capabilities, because there's a lot of space to the bottom side, or even drop seeds, or even big guns to the bottom, if that makes sense, like for orbital bombardment or anything. Anything basically that would not require you to remodel the outside, I think is possible. $64 SCU would be the double of the Zeus, and that seems a bit too low. Yeah, you all say that, but remember... Oh no, now I died. Remember that it's 64 SCU in a refinery ship or in a medical ship, and if you get the cargo module, you will have a lot more. If they give you the whole room with cargo plating, then you would have... I don't know, I haven't calculated it, but there would be like at least room for 500 SCU in the hangar. And having 500 SCU on a medical ship or a refinery ship, that is weird, because then you have, again, a great refinery ship and a great hauler at the same time. So they need to balance that. But I'm with you, there should be a little more space in the hangar. And you can always put more stuff there. You don't have the cargo plates, but that does not mean you can't put more in there. It's just a little less safe, and I think that's also a nice balancing, that you can put more in the ship, but it's not a dedicated hauler, so there is some uncertainty with it, and I think that's a nice compromise. Do you do requests? Would love to see you make use of the Crusader shuttle as vehicle carrier as a hovering waypoint tram to be used on planets. You mean requests for my videos? Currently, I would say no, because I already am so behind all of the stuff that I want to do. And right now I want to do the Ironclad next, and that will take me a month, because that thing is so big. But I'm always open to feedback on what ships you like. In the beginning, everyone told me to do the Perseus after the Galaxy, but I feel the Ironclad is so popular right now that I myself want to do that, but it feels like most of my viewers want to see the Ironclad too. So always give me feedback on what you want to see. I'm not saying that I will do that. There's also a lot of feedback that I'm supposed to do the Banu Merchantman next, and I'm not going to, because that I can't do that. It's too the design language on that is so hard to model, and I could do that, but it would take me years. So maybe I'll do some alien ships at some points. I would like to, but not right now, and not that massive Banu Merchantman. Adding armory to the outside or armor plates, I don't think that's completely unrealistic. Okay, not many questions. One thing I want to say before I go to the front, this whole layout here with these weird corridors, it is very reminiscent of the layout from the Starlancer, right? It also has this weird corridor that goes around, and where you have this big circling corridor around the whole thing, which also loses a lot of space, but they are very similar in that regard. Okay, and then we get to the front, and here's another small room with another small, and this is the last of the 3 windows on this ship. That's just sad. But yeah, another small window. To the right you have that elevator that we looked at in the very beginning that takes you up from the lower level. And on the opposite side, someone asked in the beginning, is the airlock. It's a bit angled, but yeah, here's your airlock that could also be your main entrance. Oh, there's a question right now, is there proper airlock? Yeah, it's right here. So you have, on the base Galaxy, you have 3 ways inside. There's this airlock, there's a small surface elevator in the front, and then there's the big hangar door in the back. And then depending on your module, you might get more entryways. Okay, and then to the front, yeah, we have the cockpit. This is right, it's pretty ugly right now because I have the environment disabled. I'll fix that for the next stream, I promise. But layout-wise, I think it's pretty cool to have these back seats elevated, and then every single one descending. It's a just cool layout, but the outside view is terrible. I told you that I gave away this scene for my Patreons. They can walk around this ship, and someone asked me if I can remove all this unnecessary stuff outside the cockpit because you can't see. But unfortunately, this is the view from the Galaxy. The outside here is very minimalistic. I built that, but I built it completely based on the HoloViewer model. So what you're seeing outside here and the shape of the windows, that is absolutely what the HoloViewer model has. So yeah, view from this ship is kind of terrible, to be honest, especially from these back seats. You could have windows on the sides here, but not really, because there's this metal structure around the cockpit. I don't know how to describe it. There's a big metal beam around the thing. I don't know what it's for. Then also these plates here. And then this is the pilot seat. Well, you get your usual Connie-like cockpit struts that are always in the way. It's not as bad as in the Connie, but I mean, there's still a lot of obstruction here. It's, I don't know, I think it looks very, very military. Like, you look more armored in here than you look in the Perseus, right? So I think this should be a lot more open if this is an explorer ship. And it's, I mean, if I remember correctly, this was sold as an explorer ship foremost. So I would make all of this glass, all of this, and then maybe add some blast shields. But the view right now is not the best, honestly. The airlock needs 2 doors to lock the air. Oh, that's what you're talking about. An airlock, not a... I'm pretty sure there will be 2. I didn't add a second door here because there is none in the blueprint, in the perspective drawing. But I'm 99% sure that this will be pressurized. It's just not in the drawing, and so I didn't add... I wanted to not add anything in here, no wall, no door that is not, like, officially confirmed, so that's the only reason there isn't one here. would you think it would be possible when taking about a military module that the Galaxy could serve as a RSI competitor to the Hammerhead? I don't know in what way really. It has a lot less firepower, and I think the armor of the Galaxy is really not that good. It's not supposed to be a military ship at all. It just looks like one. That's why I didn't really like the design of the Galaxy. I mean, I think the Galaxy looks great, but it looks like a Star Destroyer, and it definitely is not. It's not supposed to be that armored. Maybe they changed that, but when they announced it, they said to look more at this like a big Connie brother, like a bigger exploration version of the Connie. And yeah, I absolutely think that it does not line up visually. It looks like a Perseus or a Polaris or any of those warships, really. Galaxy looks like the ultimate do-it-all ship. Yeah, I think that's what they intend it for. I think the Galaxy is intended as a do-it-all, but there, I mean, for every profession there will be a better ship than the Galaxy, for every single one. But the Galaxy is sold as a ship that can do a bit of everything if you get the right module. So I think it's a great... It's not a starting point for any of the professions, but it's great for... if you want to try a few different things and do that at some scale, but have a variety and not completely 100% focus on hauling or refining or whatever. It's a great all-rounder. It might be the best all-rounder ship. I imagine a Galaxy exploration module with hollow globe and big radar dish on the underside. What do you think? I honestly think that's what I would expect in the base version of the Galaxy. I expect some more exploration features in the base version. It's not confirmed, but that's what I would add first if I had the opportunity. You don't think the steps for each of the stairs are necessary? Well, necessary definitely not, but you just feel, it feels good to sit elevated and you feel like you can see more even though it's wasted here. I agree. But in the front, I mean, every bit of elevation helps you see a tiny bit more. Where did you find this Galaxy interior and exterior model? I didn't find it. The interior, I built that completely 100% based on the official drawings. And the exterior, I mean the exterior you just saw there, I built that too. Because I had to take out the official models, but I do have the hollow view model from the... yeah, that you can see on the show floor sometimes. I have that model and built this based on that. See out the ship. What are you saying? Are you saying look out the windows? There's no environment right now. I'm sorry, I'll add that later. I read something, it's gone now, but someone said that he wants me to be a dev, and half of my comments state that that CIG should hire me, and I say that in every stream and some of the videos too. I hope not, because if they hire me, then this would become my job, and I don't want it to be a job because that would take away my hobby. And also then I could not show you the stuff they don't show you. There's a good reason for them to only show stuff when it's almost done, and I think it's a good thing most of the time. And I also think it's in their interest that we spend time, as I do, building stuff that is not in and have fun with speculating, and then even, yeah, use some of that if they like it, the ideas at least, or the feedback. So if I worked at CIG, then I couldn't do any of this anymore. And I would lose the fun in it. But I have a proper job, so don't worry. Oh, also I want to the second most comment is that guy is so fast. If he would do it like the ship was already done and all the other ships would already be done, and CIG is so slow, and I want to kind of protect them because building these ships like I do, like even the stuff that I did that is prettier than this, I can cut a lot of corners that they can't cut. If you want to do this for a video like I do, there's a very, very different approach to building and setting everything up. If you do it for a game, especially a complex game like Star Citizen, everything is so much more complicated, and everything has to be so perfectly prepared for their pipeline, and to be working with all these different systems, like components that you switch out and stuff. It just takes so much more time, and I'm surprised how fast they produce ships at that level. So I would definitely not see this as, oh, someone on the internet can do it faster, so why are they so slow? But rather than people on the internet can build stuff fast, but like they cut corners they can't cut. Just keep that in mind and appreciate how great their interiors are. Does the perimeter of the shuttle bay entrance have a force field emitter to maintain the atmosphere? We don't know that. I asked myself that, I asked that in videos. We don't know. It's not confirmed. I hope so, but we don't know. Do you do ID modeling as your day job? No. I think you might. Did you mean to say IT or modeling? Neither. But I do something similar. I do something similar where I also work in. I work in movies, so it's a very similar approach. We use part of the same software. I don't really use 3D softwares at work, but well, I went to university for that, and you basically learn all the aspects of all the different departments, and so I know a pretty good, or before I started this, I knew a pretty good amount of 3D stuff, and what I do on my day job helps me to learn this like a lot faster because I know all the terminology, and I know I know people that do this professionally, and then I could ask for help. And I've been doing 3D modeling for maybe 10 years before I did these videos, just as a hobby, maybe 15 years before I started this project here. So that I only do as a hobby, but there's a lot of overlap with what I do professionally, so that obviously helps. Starlancer reminds me of the Corsair, but yeah, Galaxy style, kinda. Refinery. Oh yeah, I haven't shown you any of the modules. I'm going to show you the modules in a second. Did the Vulture enter in the black hangar? Are you asking if the Vulture fits in the back hangar? If so, it does not really. It kinda fits. I can tell you, but recommend you have a look at on my channel later. There's a video about the refinery module, and in the refinery module video I put both a prospector and a vulture in here, and they both, like, you can get them through the door, but there's still a lot of it sticking out the back, and that means you can't close the doors, and that means you can't quantum jump, and that means I think with both vulture and prospector you can get in here and leave the ship, get a different pilot in, or get some of the sacks out, but I don't think you can properly land and carry one to a destination, if that makes sense. Industrial design. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, not industrial design. Your voice is very similar with one of the CIG guys. Yeah, someone told me, but I think it's less the voice and more the German, the terrible accent. Refining module, no gameplay. Yeah, the gameplay. There's no gameplay for the refining module, unfortunately. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going to have a look at the modules now. I have to load them in separately, so I'm going to put you on a waiting screen for a second. If I find it. There we go. Let's start with the cargo one, because that's the simplest one. Here we go. You speak English better than I speak Deutsch. I worked in some English-speaking countries for a few years, but even though my vocabulary improved a bit, you never get rid of that accent, and every single person you talk to always goes, "Oh, German?" I really try to get rid of it, but it's impossible. Cargo module. Oh no. See, I have the same glitches as they have in-game, that's good. Cargo module is pretty boring if it's empty, but it adds this massive lift here that gets you something Ursa sized or 2 SEU crates in there. I'm not going to go over everything, but if you're interested in that and haven't seen the video, there's a cargo module video I did where it's properly rendered and very beautifully filled with crates and stuff. But yeah, you can get 2 crates in here or in something Ursa sized. And then on top you have your cargo, what did they call it? There was an official term for it. They have some kind of, it's a tractor beam system that is mounted to the top and then moves on rails like you have in freight harbors. And at first I think it was useless and I mean just moving parts, but and also I mean you can't move it properly over the middle because of the beam, so it's pretty hard to get stuff from outside in unless it's directly below. So usually you would really have to put stuff on the elevator, get it up, and then use these to load it off. So I don't think they really help and make it easier, but again, in that video I have a visualization how it would look like if you move them and from the crane view. And I think it will add a lot to immersion, and I think it will look great and make this module feel cargo-y, if that is a word. it will make this feel industrial, and it will feel less Beam Citizen-y. Beam Citizen, as in Star Citizen, uses beams for every single mechanic because it's the easiest way to implement gameplay. I think this will improve that a tiny bit, and I like it. Which module is... do you think the reason CIG is not working on the base building module is that the drones will not be able to exit out of the bottom of the Galaxy? I think they even said that. They even confirmed that. The way they have drones designed right now is that they usually only exit the top or the sides of a ship or vehicle, and getting them out the bottom doesn't work properly. And so, yes, that is part of the reason. But you're saying they are not working on the base building module, and just to confirm that they said they will do a base building module for this ship. There will be one, and they will figure out how to do that with the drones, but yeah, that was one of the big problems, that drones are not supposed to come out the bottom of a ship. What is the maximum cargo potential for the module? You have 2 by 2 by 2 32 SU crates on each side. So I had that number calculated so many times, I forgot. 32, 64, 128, 265. Is that right? 32, 64, 128. No, 512. It's 265 per side. Wait, 32, 64, 128, 256, and then 512. Yes, it's 512. Sorry. So you have 16 32 SU crates. What you see here on the sides, that is the cargo grid. And then what I talked about in my video is usually cargo elevators, like on the Connie or something, they have magnetic grids too, so I don't think it's impossible to put more crates on the lift and keep it there. But officially speaking, it's 512. Even though, again, there would be space for so much more in here. I did, again, in that cargo video, I made a visualization where I just moved stuff around a bit to get more plates in the same amount of space, and it would absolutely be possible to have a lot more in here. And then to that 512, yes, you get also the stuff in the hangar too. Maybe they can add something in the hangar for the drones. That is a bit tricky because usually they only try to change stuff in a specific area for the modularity. If they have to change the hangar, that makes modularity a lot more tricky because you have then to swap the hangar and the cargo module every time. So I think they will try to have all the modular parts only in this middle section, even though obviously it's possible to switch out everything technically. I wonder if we will get the cargo crane. Do you think they will remove it? I don't think they will remove it. It's basically the only feature in here that makes it special. I think I hope they keep the cargo crane. Tristan, will be doing an Odyssey model, and how would you compare to the Galaxy? Will you be doing, I guess? No, I don't. I have never made an Odyssey video. And I wanted to do the Odyssey too, but right now the Ironclad is more important. I'm going to do the Ironclad next, and then yes, the Odyssey I would absolutely like to, but right now it's not on top of my list. Okay, that was the cargo module. Let me now load in the... Well, which one are we going to do next? Medical? Yeah, let's do medical next. Here we go. Do you think it will have PDTs? I think every ship will get them now. Yes. Wait, what is your relationship with CIG? You're just reviewing model files. I'm not only reviewing them, I'm also building them, but not for CIG. No, I have no connection to CIG. No official one. I'm just doing this for fun. Medical models. In the central hangar overlooking position, is there any room to push that wall back to squeeze in a semi-proper engineer room? No. Right behind that is the captain's quarters. There's no room to push that wall back. Only on the side there's a bit of room where the smaller room of the 5th crew member is, but not much. That is very cramped. And that's one of the few areas that is well filled. As you can see, the door is different for the medical module. It's the only one with portholes where you can see inside. And that is the reason why we can't get in right now, because, I mean, I can glitch through it, but I don't want to. I'm going to take the route around because I don't have moving doors in this scene. So what exactly will serve as an engineering area on the Galaxy? I think there will be... I'm not sure, but these two could be engineering terminals, or they could be turret gunners. I don't know. They could be engineering terminals, or here in the middle there's also a terminal in the blueprints that could also be for engineering. That's why he just asked if we could move this wall back, but as you see, there's this room already. Here is a bit of space, maybe 1 or 2 meters, but only until here. And then from here you have the captain's quarters, and this is all pretty much filled wall to wall. In the meantime, sorry for my voice. I'm sounding terrible today because my nose is closed and everything is closed. And that is mainly because I made dinner before I started the stream, and I got a new hot sauce, and I just put an extreme amount of hot sauce on everything because I thought in Germany there is no such thing as hot sauce, because Germans they can't handle spicy food. But I was wrong with this one, and now I'm completely fucked up from an incredible amount of hot sauce. Never mind. Here's your medical module, second entrance. This is the only one where you have a corridor here, so there's a wall that separates these places. And then, I removed some of the detailing that I have here. I'll add that for the next streams too, but here's a small room with, I don't know, just medical items and cupboards with stuff in here. In here you have your... I always forget. Tier 1 is the bad beds, right? Like the best ones are tier 3? Or is it the other way around? I always forget. So you have 3 of the low-level beds, whatever they are. And then more storage space in front of that. Not sure what that is, but they had this, like this shape. I took that from the drawing. I don't know what it is actually. Tier 1 is the best. Okay, thank you. So yeah, these are the tier 3 beds. It has 3 tier 3 beds. Then the same elevator as the cargo module, which is presumably mainly for the Nerza rover. The Nerza rover was always rumored to be in here, and I did. I actually had the NERSA rover in this. I have a video dedicated to the medical module, and it had the Ursa rover in it. I don't know, half a year before it was officially announced. So I'm pretty happy about having that in earlier. And on the other side, you can already see that it's it looks mirrored at first, but if you go in, there's a second door here. So I think this is I don't know the English term for that. It's a cleaning thing to make sure everyone who goes in is cleaned and sterilized for not getting viruses or anything in. So the other side, you can just walk in with your dirty space boots, and in here it's just proper clothed medical personnel. There's no gameplay function for that, but I think it's just for roleplay reasons. In here you have then 2 tier 2 beds, and right behind that 1 single tier 3 bed. And that is obviously it's a bit trickier to get in here. On the other side there's a lot more doors, but I think there should be less people in here than on the other side. So to summarize again, this thing has 1 tier 3 bed, 2 tier 2s, and 3 tier 3s. Which makes it more versatile than the Apollo. But the Apollo can, depending on the configuration of the beds, be better suited for a specific cause. Like you can have more tier 3 beds or more tier 1 beds, but this has the best, the most amount in total and the most variety in total. Okay, let me get back to the comments for a second. What specifically motivated you to do the Galaxy, particularly the Galaxy? I did, the first one I did was the Spirit series, because I just like that visually. I think it's a pretty beautiful ship. And then I did the first video for the Spirit. And then right when I was finished the additional videos too, well, yeah, this came out, and I just love the floor layout, and it was just the latest and newest at the time, so I figured I spent like half a day modeling that, and that half day of just being interested about the new concept turned into, yeah, 2 years now. There's a bit of German in your Stimme drin, ist das richtig? Yes, there ist vielleicht ein bisschen Deutsch in meiner Stimme. Decontamination, yeah, sorry. This is a decontamination room. Sometimes I don't know these terminology. Hangar 16 meters, 20 meters long. Where did you get that from? Is that my comment from my own video? Was the Galaxy supposed to have all the same drones as the Apollo, or are they Apollo X? The Galaxy has no medical drones at all. At least it was not advertised to have medical drones. That's another plus for the Apollo. Are the medical bed modules 1.1, 2.2, 3.2 the same as the RSI Apollo? Well, it's the same beds, and they serve the same purpose, and they are the same quality, but on the Apollo you have a different layout. I'm not sure if I get it correct right now, but you can switch it out between 2 tier 3s or 4 tier 2s or 6 tier 1s or something like that. So you can have more ships on the Galaxy or more high-level beds on the Galaxy, but you can't have as many of every single kind at the same time. So that's why I call it a great all-rounder. What ship fitting? Are you asking about this hangar specifically? I think the only ships that you can get into this hangar are Pisces and the snubs, and then maybe the I don't think the MPUV can fit vertically. Maybe an arrow, but I don't really think an arrow would get in here. In the back, definitely, yeah. Wish the Galaxy did not have to trade a med bay for cargo. It's the only thing that keeps it from being truly multi-role like Odyssey or Karak. I agree to a degree. I think it's, I mean, you can't have a ship that can do everything, right? But I think the Galaxy should have maybe one small medical bed at least in the top deck in every configuration. But I don't know. Gibt es noch andere Videos wie dieses über unveröffentlichte Schiffe? Are there other videos like these for unreleased ships? I did videos for all Spirit ships. And that's it. Yeah, sorry. I have some Spirit videos that are pretty old. That was my first and second videos. Star Citizen videos at least. And then I recently for IAE did a third video on the E1 Spirit, like the transport, the luxury transport. But I only did those. Oh, and then I did some live streams for the Paladin. And the Paladin I will do probably, let's say, I will probably do a proper high quality video of the Paladin too. But so far those three are the only ones that I have dedicated videos for. Endeavor? Oh, that's same person. No, I did not do anything about the Endeavor, and I'm not going to do that anytime soon because it's so far away and it would take me forever. More room for backup medical supplies in the Galaxy versus Apollo. Oh yeah, maybe. Galaxy is more a moving hospital, while the Apollo is more like an XXL ambulance. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. And I think that is also a good distinction between the two. What ships, also Maximum mit dem größten Modul. So that goes back to the question from earlier, what ships fitting? If I have the biggest module. The biggest module would be the cargo module. And I don't think you can get any ships other than super tiny ones onto this room because the door is too small and the lift is not that big. So if you have a ship that is the size of an Ursa, you can maybe cramp it in. But it needs to be very flat, and it's not supposed to get ships in here. In the refinery module video, I think. Yeah, in the refinery, no, is it? No, it's the latest, it's the cargo module video I did. There I put some ships in here, like I put Furies in here. I think I managed to fit 12. In the hangar, in the big hangar, and then, in the cargo module, and then 6 more in the hangar. But apart from that, it will fit less ships than you would like. Like everything like a Gladius or an Aurora or everything like that. They are all too long. They will all stick out the back and then it can't close the doors. This is only meant to carry XS ships. So, Pisces, Arrows, MPUVs, basically. Ursa frame is the largest that will fit on the platform. I think the Storm will fit. Yeah, in that same video I tried a Nova 2, a Nova tank, and that did not really fit. Like if they make the elevator like 5% bigger, it could fit a Nova. Or I mean, also my reconstruction could be 5% off, and it could fit a Nova, but it would be incredibly tight. You can get Novas in the back, absolutely, but also I think only one. Because these struts on the sides make it hard to have something big in here. I also managed to get one ballista in, but not two. So the shape of the walls make it very hard to get bigger ships in here. But again, I don't have it here right now, but if you go to the cargo module video that I have for the Galaxy, it's pretty recent. Somewhere in the middle there, I put a frame where all the ships that I ever tried putting into this, like in a proper rendered, beautiful videos, they are all listed in which video with which time code and stuff, and there you can find all the ships that I already tried putting in here. I tried Auroras and the mining ships and the Vulture and... oh, I can't remember. I think I tried like 10 ships, but it gives you an idea what fits and what doesn't. Ursa frame is the largest, yeah. But a prison module would be pretty kick-ass. Absolutely. Yeah, I would like a prison module too. I thought about that too, because they said there might be more modules at some point, but I don't think I mentioned that. So those 3 modules are confirmed now. They are confirmed with the ship. And then there's 2 more that are announced, but that will come later. One is the base building module that they now said they are going to do, even if there was like some hiccup. But there's also a crafting module. Is it called crafting? I think it's called a crafting module, but there's 2, so 5 in total basically. I like the Liberator more. Ironclad is the mini carrier that people want, though the Liberator is designed for it. That's true. The back of the not the back of the Galaxy looks and feels a bit like it could carry a lot. Especially these images with the Pisces make it look like a small carrier, but it definitely is too small for that. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for another second and then load in the 3rd module. Which is obviously the refinery module. Oh, it looks like it's going to melt my computer a bit. That's not good. No, it's running at least a bit. Oh, but there's a door in the way again, so I'll walk back around while I catch up with the chat. What programs are you using to make these models? For the models, I only use Nuke. Not true. I use Blender. I use Blender for all of that. In my videos, I also use a lot of Nuke, but that's more for the composite, basically to make images prettier. It's basically like a professional version of After Effects. Wow, Blender for this? What do you mean? Did you expect this not to be possible in Blender, or is it too ugly for Blender? Because Blender is crazy good, even though I have access to pretty much every 3D software. Like I have licenses for 3ds Max that CIG uses, which is great, and I loved that in the past too. That was the first 3D software that I used for a long time. I can use all of them, but I still use Blender because it's just so modern and great. if you want to work in the industry and like do games for a living, I would not really advise using Blender, because it is not an industry standard and there's reason for that. But if you do this for fun, like I do, then it's perfect and it can do basically everything the others can do too. It's just not as good as the big 3D packages for working in a big pipeline, in big projects. It's just not. It's technically possible, but it's not. It doesn't have the experience. Let's keep it like that. Is this module even worth it if you mine quantum alone? I don't know. Oh, wait. CRG extensively uses Blender. They even had a lecture recently. So if you work on Star Citizen, Blender is okay. I also noticed that they had that on the Ironclad. They showed some Blender work. Maybe, but I also see them use a lot of 3ds Max, and I can just tell you that in other studios, like I work in film more, but there's also the discussion, all of the students all the time, they always want to use Blender or before that Cinema 4D because it's cooler and newer and better and everything, but the industry still uses Maya, which is decades old, but that will not change in the near future, even though Blender technically is better and newer and everything, but there's just a level of security you get when you work with a company that is doing that for 30 years. I worked on projects where we had an issue with Maya, and so they called the company and we had a brand new Maya build like within the next few hours, and Blender will never be able to do that because Blender is open source and has a smaller team. Even though Blender is getting better and better and better and everything, it's just not industry standard right now. If CRG uses it, great. And also if you want to learn it, it's still great for learning because basically they are all the same. But don't expect all the great studios to use Blender in the future. I'm just telling from experience, for like 15 years now, people always tell me, well, first they told me Cinema 4D is going to be the future. Then for the last 10 years, they told me Blender is the future, but it hasn't happened so far and I doubt it will ever happen. Even though it's great and I love it personally. Okay, let's get back to wait, no, let's stay at the software stuff for a second. I use 3ds Max and I'm not at this level to make an asset like you have. Okay, but you can. I mean, 3ds Max also was the main tool in the past because CryEngine is completely built for 3ds Max and not for Blender. All the plugins back in the days for CryEngine, that was all 3ds Max, and that's why CRG had that as the main tool in the beginning. I know that they now have tools for Blender, and that's great. Yeah, Blender's great, but it's not the perfect tool for everything. All I'm saying. Okay, refinery module. That was a lot of technical talk. Refinery module, is it even worth it for continuum mining? No one knows actually, because we don't know how refining gameplay is going to turn out, right? It's just the refining we have in game is very simplistic, and there has not been a lot of talk about the final refining gameplay. So is this going to be worth it? No one can tell you. The only thing I can tell you is that this is a very nice module. I like the layout of this. I like that you have these elevated walkways here with the terminals to do the refining job, where you have your two reactors. And you can walk in between these, and they also talked about that you can influence the process by adding agents to the process to speed stuff up, but that could also be dangerous and stuff could explode. And well, here's a lot of room to make that actually gameplay. Like you could throw stuff into these things here, it is a very nice module. It's very interesting. In my videos you can see that it's also usually a bit more misty and moody and looking really industrial, and I think it's a really great place. It could be really, really fun. If it is as good as other ships, no one knows right now. This is a complete mystery how that gameplay loop is going to turn out in the future. The only thing that we know is that the Erastra has more reactors. I think they are smaller, but even with that, we don't know what that means. Is it better to have more? Is it better to have bigger ones? Who knows? We will see at some point. The refining module is probably worth the most for a refining oriented org. Yeah, absolutely, but the question, well, if the question was if it's worth it for a single player, then probably not. But I think the question, I understood the question more like, is the refining module worth it for an org over an Erastra or something? And that is just something we don't know. Galaxy will be a bit of a handful to solo, I think too. I think, yeah, I agree. It's meant to be used with 4 people, and I think soloing it will be tough. 2 people by minimum is what I would expect. Ships up to the size of corvettes can upgrade solo, but it won't be perfect. No, capitals like Kraken won't work. There's so much talk about solo playing, and honestly we all don't know how it's going to turn out. They change their opinions about that every now and then. You just have to wait. There's absolutely no... I mean, it's all speculation. They can always change how many people you will need to fly these massive things. And I don't think they have it completely figured out yet. I was hoping for base building module, but that doesn't look like it's coming for years. I agree. I think this ship will take at least a year, but I think more, and then the base building module will not come out with the first. Well, I mean, we don't know. They said that the Pioneer... No, not the Pioneer. The Starlancer will be the first one. But... I mean, since base building now is the gameplay loop they are working on currently with a lot of energy, I would not be surprised if they put more effort into this now that they agree to do a refining base building ship, just to have more base building ships, you know. It would be good timing to have this closer to the base building release than 5 years later. But we don't know. It looks like the Erastra refinery is larger. Yeah, it's larger, and it has more of these refining reactors, they are called. But I think these are bigger than the Erastrans. It can do bigger jobs. But yeah, if it's more in total, I don't know. Where did bro steal these files from? They are not stolen. I built all of this. All the interior I built except for... No, actually here everything is built by me. Sometimes I have some files that are official files, but this is all mine. And it's very accurate. I built it very accurately, but it's not stolen. Erastra's better. Almost got screwed and cleared myself. Galaxy owners got screwed, including myself. Instead of spending the time developing the base building module, they spent time building the Starlancer BLD instead. I'm angry that... I'm not angry. I understand that they put the Perseus in front. That's fine. There's a reason for that. That they built a completely different base building ship instead of this one, I agree that it's not okay. I think they should not have sold the Starlancer BLD before working on this. That's just not correct. That's not right. Agreed. Does the refining module have a lift like the other two modules? Yes, it does, but it is smaller. I didn't say that. You're right. I think. Not, I don't think this here is this is the lift. It's only this area here, so it can hold, I don't know, like I think I measured it at some point. It is as wide as the other lift, but just not as long. So it is as wide as two 32 SU crates next to each other, which means it's more than 2.5 meters. But there's some space on the side, so it could be like 3 meters wide. And then less long than that, so you cannot get any. Oh, I forgot. If you're interested in the lift here, have a look at my refinery module video. I put some vehicles in here, and I think even the rock is too big to fit on this. But maybe I'm wrong. I did check that at some point. But yeah, you can get Quantanium. You can get the prospector bags in here, or small boxes, or get them out. Oh, but there's also, I didn't talk about that too. Sorry about that. You don't need to get the mining sacks, the prospector bags in here, because they dock from the underside of the ship. There's a special port for them, and that's right below these two pipes here. You can basically put 2 of those saddlebags on the outside of the Galaxy, then they will be transferred into the system here, and then you can take them off again without ever putting them into the ship. That is, they talked about that in the very first video, and there's also one artwork where you can see it a bit. But yeah, again, in my video about the refinery module, I made an animation with the prospector docking and showing the whole process. So if you haven't seen that, have a look at that. It's prettier than this, because I rendered it for hours. They have not sold the BLD yet. True, but they have... right. But still, they are going to work on the BLD before the Galaxy, right? So even though they have not sold it yet, it's going to cut in line. And they have sold the Galaxy base building module. No, hell, have they? Well, okay, actually... They have not sold the Galaxy base building module. They have announced that it is coming, even though it was not. That was the thing everyone was talking about. They talked about making a base building module, but it was never on sale. So I still think they should not have made the new ship with the same functionality. But you are right, they have not technically sold one or the other, actually. Is there a storage area for storing the materials? Not in here, even though there is space in the middle here. This could be cargo plating, I don't know, but I don't think it is. But well, you have the whole hangar behind it, right? That's where I would probably put all the refined material. But I mean, there is some stuff on here on the artwork. There are some boxes here and some trolleys. So I think you can use the middle for that, even though there's no cargo plating. Or maybe there is. I don't think that was confirmed. I wonder if it works with the mole bag as well, but probably not, as the mole bags can't be removed from the top. I'm sure it works with the mole bag too. I think they said they're going to rework that, so they are... I'm not entirely sure about this part, I'm going to say, but I think they said they are going to make the saddlebags from the mold detachable, and then they should work here the same. It would be weird if it's only if it can only work with the Prospector, right? CRG confirmed the base building module. I said that before. The base building module is coming, but there was a time where they said it's not coming, but before that there was an announcement that they're going to do it, but it was never sold. That was the point here. From what I know, the Galaxy base building module will not be as good as a ship with a dedicated gameplay role, so the Starlancer BLD will be better at building than the Galaxy. I think that is still the case, and that's true, and that's okay, because again, the Galaxy is the one ship for everything. But I still think they should have done the Galaxy first. That's just, I mean, they can always build a better one, or not even. I wouldn't say it's better, it's more dedicated for that role, right? But again, they should have just made the Galaxy before they introduced something new. Once they are both out, I think it's cool to have two options. It's just that for a lot of people they bought the whole Galaxy because they were told that will be the flagship, or the first, not the flagship, the first base building ship. That's the whole issue here. It was pretty much communicated as being the first base building ship you get. And that's why many people bought it. But yeah, it was just terrible communication. Do you think the Galaxy will receive a loading ramp for the back hangar upon release? Right now it seems the hangar bay may only be reachable by flight. Yes, and they confirmed that it's only accessible by flight. They could add a ramp, but I think it would be too steep and too high. It's very, very high off the ground. I don't know how much. I said that in one of the videos too, but it's at least 5 meters. It's very high. I think for balancing reason they won't put a ramp there, even though it would be cool and possible, but I don't think they will. Oh, at least at this point they made it clear that there is none. They never mentioned the construction model, so I don't think they need to confirm. They did confirm the item manufacturing process. What? No. Not sure if what do you mean by construction? Is construction space building? Then they definitely mentioned that in the second last not CitizenCon. Yes, CitizenCon. The second last CitizenCon, they showed the Galaxy on a base building sheet. Definitely, that was as confirmed as it gets. The mole bags are the same dimension size as the Prospector. No, that's not true. The mole bags are bigger. Not much, but I had both models in here for that scene, and the mole bags are, I don't know, 30 or 40% bigger. Maybe not 40%, but they are a touch bigger. Would have made sense to have the BLD come out after 2 if it was going to end up being better. Yeah, right. I've seen watching CIG for a while now, and they seem to outright lie concerning their products. I don't know. There are sometimes things where I think they might do bad decisions for marketing, for selling stuff, but I also think that sometimes they just get, this is such a massive project, and I think there are some honest mistakes in there too. At least I hope. I don't think they are as evil as some people paint them. And also not as greedy. I think they are greedy, don't get me wrong. But definitely not as... It's not as... There are also a lot of decisions that are for gameplay reason, for development, especially for development reason, that we don't understand really from the outside. Galaxy was the only ship able to build large structures apart from the Pioneer, which can do all sizes. Are you sure? I'm not sure if they said that. I just remember saying it's going to be the biggest one on release, but not that it can build big structures. I think it's just too small for that. Maybe it says... I don't think they said it, but if they did, then that's not going to happen. Do you think there's a reason why cargo bay is too small? Seems wasted space, even if it looks very nice. Are you talking about this cargo space in the hangar? Then it is to have your dedicated landing platform always, even if you have cargo, and also for balancing. If you make cargo plates in here all the way, then this ship is just... If you make cargo plates here all the way and make it possible for this room to be filled to the top, then this would have a lot more cargo than a caterpillar, and that is just... that wouldn't make sense. So they have to restrict it at least a little for gameplay reason and balancing reason. Do you think or the Arrestra is gonna come out first? This or the Arrestra is coming out first? That's a good question. Honestly, I think not even they know at this point. Both have not been confirmed to be in development, so they could secretly work on the Arrestra, but I would assume since refining is not in development, as I know, I mean, as far as I know right now, I would expect this to come out a bit sooner maybe, but I don't know. I said earlier, I think it's a possibility that this ship comes out before refining, just with the cargo and the medical module. But that would then make it possible to make this before the Arrestra, but I don't know. It was on the slide behind Todd Pappy. Galaxy able to build large structures. Okay, then maybe even back in the day, I don't know. Maybe it was just terrible communication. But I never understood it as being able to do the same as the Pioneer. That just doesn't make sense, even if he said it. Would love to see a video where you fix the bridge views and watch you try to fit any size engineer station somewhere in the superstructure. Trying to, but there's so many models I have to do. Now I can't keep up with chat anymore. There was something I wanted to answer, but it's gone, I'm sorry. There are 2 size bags available for mining. Go to buy the bags. They are different sizes, yeah, that's true. They said the Perseus is next after the Galaxy. No. They said the Perseus is next and after the Galaxy. They said that, but they said the Perseus is the next big RSI ship after the Galaxy. That does not mean they don't build the Arrestra at the site, because it's a different size. It does not exclude... They don't exclude each other. They did not say that after the Perseus, the next thing they're going to do is the Galaxy. It's just the next big RSI capital. So this is the RSI version of the Carrack. Yeah, pretty much. Just with more rolls. And a bit smaller, I think. They did not affirm that they are putting the Galaxy on the table at all. What do you mean? Why have such a high cargo bay? There could be another room on top. Good point. Good point. There's really nothing that uses the whole height, but it's cool. I think that's really one of the features. It's a big hangar, and that's just cool. Because I stood in that hangar in VR, and it is impressive. It's just cool to have a big hangar back there. So I think that's the only reason. They're rushing the Ironclad over the Galaxy. Yeah, but they don't, again, they don't exclude each other. I think it's different people working on the Ironclad and the RSI ships anyways. Any progress on your Ironclad project? I started it, but it's not ready to be shown here. Yeah, okay. I just hope the Expanse comes out soon. I want to see if it fits into Polaris. Wait, Expanse? I thought you were writing the Endeavor. I thought you were trolling. What is the Expanse again? I imagine the Misk ship he mentioned in the Odyssey. I can't keep up with chat, I'm sorry. Tris, do you have a business contact? Not really, but I have a Discord where you can contact me if you want something. Discord is the same name as my YouTube channel. Do you make these? Yes, I built these, but just for fun. I'm not officially making these. Oh yeah, Expanse is the refinery ship. Oh yeah, right. I mixed it up. Okay, sure. I don't think the Expanse will fit into the Polaris, but that's just my my guess. I believe they will show the Ironclad at DefenseCon next year at Invictus. No, absolutely not. I mean, that's my opinion, but I'm 99% sure they won't have the Ironclad in 5.5 months ready. They just said they are working on it, but the Ironclad is massive. I think that will take longer. I mean, I don't even think that they would have the exterior ready. I think it's a possibility they have, and I think it's a possibility that they have the Perseus ready for Invictus, but just the exterior, like they had the Polaris last time. But the Ironclad, I think you will have to wait a little longer. I don't know anything, I don't have inside information, but I think the Ironclad takes longer to finish. What software do you use to create these? Blender. I use Blender for the 3D stuff. I think they have been working on it since before they announced it. That's a possibility, yeah. It is a possibility, but I mean, honestly, we don't know. I don't think there was any leaked information suggesting that we could have the Ironclad in 5 months, but if so, I would love it. I think the Ironclad is the most interesting ship of the last... Well, to me it was the most interesting ship since the Galaxy. And so I hope they finish that sooner than later, but I think it will take some time. I hope it does not come out before Invictus. I hope it comes not out at Invictus even, because I don't think I will have a proper Ironclad video, like a full high quality Ironclad video before Invictus, so I would love to have that finished then, and then maybe that can come out at IEE or something. What do you think about the Misk Starlancer? That's opinion question. I like it. I just walked around the interior once. I think it has a lovely interior. I don't... I like Misk very much from a designing standpoint. Like, I like the design work they put into that. I like the modeling work and everything, but I don't personally like the design, if that makes sense. So I don't feel home in Misk ships. And so it is not a ship for me, even though I like the layout and the functionality. Even though it has some weird layout decisions, but I think it's a cool ship. It's a nice addition. For people that like Misk, it's just not my preferred manufacturer. I would say Ironclad will be DefenseCon 2026. That is more realistic. Hey, was geht? Die Galaxy geht. Geht in Produktion, aber das dauert noch eine Weile. I hope we get the Vulcan soon. Oh, that was also not talked about for a long time, right? I mean, I love Misk ships too. I love most of the manufacturers in this game, but personally I would only buy one or two. There's only one or two that I like to have and own and live inside, but I appreciate all the other ones, and I appreciate Misk a lot. The design is great, it's amazing. But even when it comes to industrial stuff, I prefer Argo. I think Argo has even better interiors and exteriors too. I think Argo has crazy good design. The raft is... I just love the raft, even though it doesn't really make sense in game at all, but the design is just top level. Now, at this point we have seen everything, we have tested everything. There's obviously a lot that I have to improve. Is there anything in the Galaxy that you want me to show again, that you haven't seen, that you didn't catch, or that I didn't talk about, or do you want to see one of the modules again? Otherwise I would probably close the stream soon, but I could also, if you want, I could also show you an update on the Paladin. I didn't really plan that, but you can have a look at the work in progress of the Paladin. But is there anything Galaxy related that you wanted to see first? Outside view. Oh fuck, I didn't say that, but I have an outside view of this and we can try it, but there's a good possibility that it will melt my computer. And it will also look a lot uglier than on my videos, but we can try. Bridge from the outside. You all want to see the outside first. Okay, we'll have a look at the outside of the Galaxy. That will take a second. Did you show the engine room of the Galaxy? Wait, the engine room? You're talking about the very front? I can do that before we switch to the outside. What do you mean by engine room? The engineering room? There's this thing in the front that is a bit of, I assume it's a bit of engineering and a lot of well, components, but it's not fully confirmed what it is, except that here's a surface elevator. Yeah. I hope that was the room that you meant. Yeah, okay. The only thing that I can really show is the size. It's a very small room, even though there's a lot of room to make it bigger. This is another room where left and right and even front there is space to make this bigger, but what it's 100% used for, I don't think they confirmed that in the Q&A. They said it's used for something, but I don't think they got into details. Okay, let's jump out. Let's have a look at the exterior, and then we get the Paladin out after that. Paladin update, you madman. Yeah, if you didn't catch that, I never really streamed before, but when the Paladin got out and I saw the concepts, I thought I can't make a video tomorrow and then the weekend is over, so I just figured I'd just start the stream and start Blender and show you basically me building that stuff. And then I quickly colored and textured and made the materials for the Paladin, and then we had that in a walkable demo like we had the Galaxy right now about an hour after the thing was out, and that's crazy. That was really fun. And then yeah, I built part of the interior, but I built the full interior, like what they call gray box, white box, whatever, and now I have 1.5 rooms with details finished. Yeah, but it's not the whole thing, and it's not finished and everything. That's a tiny engine room for a large ship. The Starlancer engine room looks way cooler. Yeah, I think this is one of the areas where they will improve when that finally comes out. I don't think it will stay like that, at least I hope. Okay, let's see. Oh god, that's so rough. I mean, it's... Oh god, yeah, you see that it's lagging. This is really tough for my computer, and rendering this intro scene with the IAE hall and the ship inside, that rendered for, well, let's say a long time on a lot of computers at the same time. Can you build render of the new rework of the 600i Explorer? I could, but not right now. I do the Ironclad next, and that will take a long time. Okay, yeah, so this is the exterior. It's big, but I don't have the measurements here right now. I think it's a little over 100 meters. If you want to get all the nitty-gritty details about the size, maybe look at the in the very first Galaxy video I did, I walked around the outside and talked about the measurements, and that should be accurate, but I don't have them all in my head. As you can see, it looks like a warship. It has no windows. It just looks massive and metally and menacing. I said earlier, this I built originally. I made it with the normal paint. For this IAE, I made the protector paint, which is the one with the white and the more bluish, blue-greenish hull. I think it looks terrible right now without light and everything, but I like the paint even more than the base version. It looks amazing. 110 meters. Thank you for confirming that. It's 110 meters. Right now it could still get bigger. It wouldn't be the first ship to get bigger. The back might look a bit terrible because obviously I have the interior not loaded in right now. That looks terrible, but you can see how big it is, at least like a bit. Starlancer max is 86 meters. I still think they are comparable internally because the Starlancer has not as much wasted space in the front. Basically the first, I don't know, 10, 15 meters of the Galaxy are not used for anything. They're just, it's just the big nose. What chip? This is the RSI Galaxy. This is the official HoloViewer model textured by me, but it's not the final in-game model, obviously. It's actually not that big for the size of the modular bay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 110 meters is a lot on paper, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the front that is just spiky and has no internals. And here you have you can see the big cargo elevator on the bottom. And I have the cargo module also loaded in. So I talked about that too in the cargo module video, and I even showed it a bit better. I don't know if this is the final height. I looked at the artwork where it stands with landing gear, but it could also be a bit higher off the ground. But the way it is right now, you cannot fit two 32 crates on top of each other onto this elevator because it is too close to the ground. So as you can see, loading will be a bit tricky. There's so many plates here, and it's just not as accessible as the Caterpillar, which you can greatly load from the sides, or the C2, which you can greatly load from the back and front, or the Ironclad, which you can greatly load from the top in space. This here is pretty much always terrible to load, especially in space, because then you have this elevator in the way. It's not the best cargo layout for loading. And again, I think that is also partly for balancing reason, because otherwise it's not supposed to be a dedicated hauler. It doesn't seem much bigger than the Connie cargo elevator. I don't know how big that is, what it fits, but it definitely is not much bigger. But you have to consider that the Connie elevator is basically the whole footprint of the cargo module. Like, it's the cargo module, the whole cargo floor comes out with the Connie, where here you have a lot more space around it. It would be cool if, as in the Connie, also here the cargo elevator would be wider and you could basically lower the whole floor. But as you can see here, there's so much stuff on the bottom in the way that that's not going to happen. And the bridge, yes, we're getting to the bridge, don't worry. I much prefer this than Caterpillar, where you have to lift the cargo up in the air. I prefer it too, but if you have to load it fast and you have enough people, I just say I think you can load the Caterpillar faster if you have the people to do it. Here, even with like 5 or 6 or 10 people, that wouldn't help. More hands wouldn't help you, because you can only ever fit 2 or a few smaller boxes on top in one go, and then you would have to get the elevator up and then wait, and that's all I'm saying. C2 is a vehicle transport and not really a cargo ship. It's true, but it's still better for loading than this is. I mean, better is always subjectively, but you can use more people at the same time. You can work better simultaneously. The front turret could use being moved forward just a touch. Seems like the hull will be limiting its firing out of the ton. I expect everything, like small stuff like this, will absolutely be improved. Not well, it could be improved. Maybe they don't do this because it's not a military ship, but I wouldn't expect any turret placements to be final in this version. And now we're getting to the bridge. From the outside it's pretty cool, but you can see what I showed you on the inside too. There's so much stuff here that blocks your way. It's this plating that, well, is just for protection, I believe. And then this is the structure, the metal beam that I talked about in the first half. This is basically, I don't know what it's for, but it's kind of in the way if you wanted to make more windows on the sides here for the seats in the back. Even if you open this, then this thing would still be in the way. But you can get like at least this middle part out and make it glass too. That would help a bit, right? But then you would also have to touch this and probably also this to make it a lot better. Like it will be tricky to give this a good visibility. It has, yeah, it's very limited visibility, but I mean, I honestly like it. I honestly like it. I honestly would prefer something like this on a Polaris. Yeah, like a limited view for protection, for plating, for just having you secured. Even though glass in this universe can't be destroyed and blah blah blah, this just looks like a more secured warship than the Polaris. And it does not look like an Explorer either. If it was just this glass without the stuff around, it would be a great Explorer cockpit. But right now it's like a bit of a... it takes the worst of both worlds. Blast shields would also be great on this one. Then you could maybe remove some of these structures. But again, I mean, the overall shape of the Galaxy is just not perfectly... you would have to make a lot of changes about these parts that are iconic to the Galaxy silhouette. I don't think there will be massive changes to the upper hull here. But I would also add blast shields just because I would add them to every ship. But even with blast shields, I think something like this with the big metal plates on the sides is more fitting to something like the Polaris to... again, even if glass is indestructible, it would make the ship feel more secure and protected and beefy and military. RSI has similar design clues on all their ships. I think this one stands out a bit. Especially because, yeah, they basically sold it as an Explorer, if I'm correct. But I would expect small changes, but the Galaxy is just big and the visibility is not as good as it is and it looks more armored than it should be. I think in generally those things will change. It will always look more military than it needs to, and visibility will always be worse than, well, other ships of that size. Okay, that's enough for the Galaxy, I guess. And now I'm going to... It looked to me like the bridge section might detach in the original artwork as an escape pod. I mean, it didn't look like that to me, but it's not... It makes sense, I guess. Could be. I don't know. Alright, you keep talking about the Galaxy. In the meantime, I'm going to load in the Paladin. Okay. It's loading, it's loading. I'm really sorry it's not loading faster, but there's a lot of stuff to be loaded. Okay, here we go. A silent live stream with no video. Okay, then I'll watch something else. Well, if you already left, then sorry. But, I mean, if you just jumped in this 3 hours live stream for the 2 minutes I needed to load something, that's unfortunate. But sometimes I have to load in new scenes. So, right now, the Paladin I think most people have seen it by now, so I'm going to make the outside too quick. The outside is just the HoloView model where I added the materials and colors of the concept. The only thing interesting about the exterior, I think, at this point is that originally there was a second door on this side here. I removed that by now because it is shown in one of the more detailed artworks that it is not symmetrical. There's only one door on the outside. Other than that, there's the turret that moves around this railing here. Right now I have it animated into the ground on the bottom. That's sorry about that. It can move, but it can't move in this scene because, yeah, it again will melt my computer. But technically I have animated it to slide along these rails from the bottom to the top, depending on where you need it. Then we have these smaller ones on the sides. They can be pilot controlled. That was a big concern in the beginning, but it was confirmed they can be pilot controlled if it's soloed. Here's the entrance, and in the front there's also blast shields on this one. I think in this model right here I have it even, yeah, the blast shields are already deployed here. You can see the big metal piece on the side there, that's the blast shield. I have animated that too. I have shown that in the last stream. I mean, I can show you too in a second. I can show you the animated stuff in a second, but it has blast shields and they are already in the model. I didn't add them. They are hidden inside the model. I think that's all I have to say about the exterior at this point. I have talked about it, other people have talked about it. I don't think there's any mystery in that left. So let me switch to the animated one. Here we go. Here you can see both the turret moving. It moves too fast right now. It doesn't really sell how big it actually is. I just animated it quickly. I have not made any adjustment to actually work for the size. And then in the front we have the blast shields. I'm sure that these on the sides are blast shield. These things. On the top could be a blast shield, couldn't be, I don't know. I just animated it with it. Galaxy bed and breakfast module. That's a great idea. Nice. What I also already kind of like is the view when the turret slides up. That's very impressive. Wop. That's pretty cool. Okay, now I have to load in the interior. here we go. Let me keep up with chat. Okay. Okay. For the interior of the Paladin, this reconstruction is very, very, very accurate. I can show that in the video I'll do. I don't know, whenever I get to it. I show how accurate this is. It's incredibly accurate. Just I don't know where stuff is, but I can the sizes of the rooms. That's all very accurate. Okay, and also it's not finished, so I have only really finished the first room, and the rest is just super gray box. So in the beginning, we have our suit lockers, 4 of them. On the opposite side, there's some space on the sides. I'm sure that's where the gun racks will be, and maybe some more personal storage. And then in the very back, you have something that I can't make out. It has a very distinctive shape. I don't know what it is. Component access maybe? It's definitely not an opening. I had some people in the first stream asking if this here or in the top room above has a door to the back to load. But since you saw the turret sliding on the outside, there can't be any access to the back or from the back. Then if we move forward, you can see we are in the absolute middle of the ship. So this is basically in the very center. And you can see that it's kind of, there's a lot of space on the right that is not used, and that is completely unused. There's nothing behind this wall right now, but it's weird. There's a lot of wasted space, and there's even more wasted there's even more wasted space in this ship than in the Galaxy. But right here on the concept art, you can make out one big component axis or something like that, at least. On the bottom, you have all these panels, and one of them stands out. This one here has yellow markings on it. I asked in the Q&A if it has some purpose. It could be a service elevator, but currently we don't know. But this panel really stands out in the concepts for some reason. Then if we go further, here's another room with there's a lot of space behind this wall. I don't know what it's used for. Even there's something on this wall, but again, lots of wasted space behind it. Initially, when there were the 2 doors, I thought that there might be a hidden door here, and then you had a corridor behind the stairs, and then had a second door on the other side that is a bit more hidden to escape the ship. I think one single entrance is a bit risky on this kind of ship. Going more to the front, you have a ladder to the upper floor. And then to the front, this looks really terrible right now, but this is the cockpit. Down here you have the 2 gunner seats. They basically, you start here and then they slide into place here. And then right above you, you have the pilot and the co-pilot. So they're in the same room. There's no wall or floor separating them. They all 4 hang in this big glass cockpit. And that is really cool. That is shown in one of the artworks. And I think that is one of the cooler features. Gameplay-wise, it doesn't matter at all. But I think it just, roleplay-wise, it's really cool to have all the 4 people like on top of each other, and they can scream down commands and such. As you can see here, yeah, someone's writing it. There's so many steps in this ship. Like even here, you can see the stairs going down and then back up again right after that. Just it doesn't make sense. And if you look at it from the outside, you can see that again this doesn't make sense. We first speculated that they needed this space to fit the door in the top, but there's enough space above and below to not have this weird staircase here, but well, it's in there. I think it makes the ship more interesting, but it doesn't make sense at all. Then we have the very spacious stairway, and as you can see, the stairs are spaced so far apart. Like, there's so much space in between, and they are also so flat. It's not a steep staircase. It could be much steeper and could spare a lot more space. But here we go. And also, this staircase is so accurate to the blueprint that it completely snapped into position, basically. I don't know why it is like this, but I don't know. On the top floor, let's go to the front first. You have the ladder that would have brought you upstairs if you didn't take the stairs. And then to the front here, the corridor is the same steps down and then up again. And then here you have the pilot and co-pilot seat. Going back, you have a nice big room. On the very left you have a very roomy restroom and toilet. I don't know why it's so big. I also don't know why it's the only one. I think there should be two, but there's only one. Then right here, this block is in the artwork. There's something depicted that no one really knows what it is for. To me, it looks like, well, some people say it looks like missiles, but the missiles come out from a very different space on the outside. So and also it's too many. It doesn't make sense to have missiles. I would have hoped for this. If you look at the artwork, it looks like a feeding belt for a machine gun. So I was hoping that you have the turret is right above you, so that you feed the ammunition into the top gun, and that is the first implementation of reloadable mechanical weapons, projectile weapons. So you could have small boxes with ammunition and you snap it into here and then it reloads the ballistic ammunition, that's the term. But I don't think it would be cool. It would be a great feature to have here. It would be fun to reload this, but it is sold with laser weapons, so it doesn't really make sense. It was just my best idea, and it kind of looks like a machine gun belt. Maybe have a look if you're interested in the artwork. On the opposite side, there's a angled wall that is again a bit weird, because as you see on the opposite side, there would be plenty of space for another room. Again, this is the middle of the ship. There's the wall. And then there's all this room here. I would put a kitchen here. I assume there is some kind of kitchen space here with maybe like a freezer or something. But there is a kitchen dining area here. I have not modeled it, unfortunately, but there's two benches here, a table in the middle, and that's where you can hang out with your crew. But there needs to be at least some kind of food terminal or microwave or freezer or anything. Right now that is nothing really visible, but there's plenty of space here to add that. Then going back, in the very back we have another big room, and this is where probably most of the components will be. And in the back there is something, you can see the outline here, that really looks like a door on the outside. That's why people thought it could be, but again, on the outside there's the railing of the gun, and it's component access. There's also some screen here. It's basically the engineering and component room. Oh, the Valkyrie has also a little kitchen area on a diagonal wall. That's interesting. Then I'll try to copy that for the interior for the next time. Yeah, plenty of people think one toilet is enough. I'm just thinking if one is broken, you would have an issue. Anyway, on the two other sides you have two more rooms, and that's the crew quarters. And these are the rooms that I like the most. They have a nice height difference. It makes the room very, very, very interesting. So another 3 steps down that they are not necessary, but yeah, it makes the room interesting at least. it's a nice room shape and layout. Right here you have some kind of desks, there's some paperwork in the artwork, and below it there's a bag and something that looks like a foldable chair. Then 2 bunk beds on each side, and right here a sofa, and there's some, looks like a locker, like inventory space here. I don't know what is on this wall. There's something here that I couldn't make out what it is. But then, weirdly, this room is not mirrored on the other side. It's rotated. So that means it looks the very same. I don't know if that makes sense for you, but if I go into this room, okay, here's some stuff from the exterior, ignore that. But other than that, you can see that the room looks, oh no. Other than that, you can see that the room looks exactly the same. It's the same layout. And I think that's a big problem, because first of all, it takes more space this way, a lot more space. There's another 2 meters in this direction that you could use. And also, if you wake up in this bed, the layout is exactly the same. You don't know which side you're on. So if you mirrored this, those would feel different, those 2 rooms, and you would also always know where you are on the ship. So I would absolutely make these mirrored instead of rotated. That's just a weird decision. And these are my, it's my Patreons, but I have not updated it. It's a few more by now, but they are featured in every single scene. Yeah, and I think that's it. That's the whole Paladin interior. I'm thinking about making this thing available for the Patreon and channel members too, like the Galaxy, so make a small browser version where you can walk around it. I will probably not finish the whole Paladin interior the way I did the Galaxy, because it's not as interesting. I will improve it a little for my video, but I'm not sure if it is interesting for you to have a work in progress version already, or if you would rather wait till it's a bit more polished. Feel free to give feedback on that platform preferably, and then maybe I'll do a version of this with like an interactive version of this that you can again look and watch and walk around in your web browser. Okay, and I think that is where I'm going to wrap this stream up. It has gone a lot longer than I anticipated. It worked a lot smoother than I anticipated, but now I have to make it a little prettier. As I said, this was mainly a test. I'm trying to make the Galaxy prettier and get some more details in, make the lighting better, and then do another proper Luminalia Galaxy stream at the end of the week. There won't be new information if you've seen this, but on the one hand, I want to reach some more people that maybe didn't get it on a Sunday evening, and also I want to make it a little prettier, a little more festive, if you want. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for keeping up with the terrible graphics here and there, and with the loading and all the time. Thank you for all the questions. It was very interesting, and it was very cool because the Galaxy, I did all these videos, but yeah, having people asking questions in real time about the Galaxy is so beloved, and so many people have so many ideas and questions about it that I thought it was just interesting, and I hope you felt the same. So yeah, thank you very much. If you're not catching the second stream, then have a happy holiday, and I wish you all a good bug-free 4.0. Thank you very much again, and see you soon. Bye bye.